Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one.
And setting up here in the rough. Once you hit double to par, it is time to just pick up and move on. Count that as a quadruple bogey. Locked in on the read and the speed. So a tester from 4 feet. Well, double par here, time to pick up and move on. Just 2 holes left. The 17th is a par 4. Frank, looks like a bowling alley, not a golf course.
Yeah, it is, but you could easily get a strike down here, that's for sure, because you'll knock over more than pins. Anything left or right is going to hit one of those mountains on either side, but hopefully will bounce all the way back to the fairway. So it might play a little wider than what first your eye sees. Second shot's going to play slightly uphill again to a green that pitches slightly back towards you, plus 2 different tiers.
No fairway here. This one in that rough. Frank did the prudent thing there, didn't he?
Yeah, in the end, really, you could have turned that into a disaster instead. Actually, a good chance, really, to perhaps get away with par.
Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has the shot to sink this one for birdie.
Kind of a tricky read.
Really. This is that awkward length. Whoa, that was unexplainable. I thought that was easily going to be a par.
I'll have to focus. Try to make bogey. Just hammered that par putt, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he was thinking or what was going through his mind right there, but you better wake up in a hurry, because if this one doesn't go in, that score's going to rack up very quickly.
Trying to limit the damage here. This putt is for bogey. Been a rocky round. That hole certainly got the best of him. Triple bogey. So we've come to the finishing hole, and it is a par 3. And Frank, you think about bucket list golf courses, the old course at St. Andrews, TPC Sawgrass with the 17th, the Island Green, Pebble Beach, Augusta National. This one certainly has to be on anybody's list before their days are done.
It is, and the only thing really crazier for this hole is if they actually stuck it out there on a little sliver of land out there on top of the Colorado River. But wonderful way to finish what's been a good day. Long par 3, well protected by those 2 bunkers, but there's enough green there and a good shot. We might just see a putt for 2 to finish the day.
Well, the tee shot has landed in the bunker. Digs in, ready for the bunker shot.
Yeah, second shot here. Just trying to aim a little bit behind that ball, an inch or two.
Frank, that's a quality shot.
Yeah, 16 feet or so away. Very makeable.
Getting ready now for this next shot in the bunker. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
So a tough way to close the round, missing a short putt and a bogey here at 18. Keimer attempting this for par. There you have it. Well done. Great putt. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Everything has gone wrong today. Just continues to be ugly. So as we finish up here today, Frank, he has not had the best round, but I suppose that's golf, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not Robinson Crusoe. This golf course can drive many a man crazy. But the beauty of this game...
This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Just a spectacular setting here in the Pacific Northwest. We're at Chambers Bay in University Place, Washington. And Frank, what can you tell us about this golf course?
Well, it's almost like a nature walk out there. It's built amongst these wonderful sand dunes. As far as trees are concerned, there's only one really that comes into play. The rest are all in the distance, so you feel very much at one with the elements. It's kind of nice, actually, just going for a little stroll out there like that. Refreshing.
Frank, this one's offline.
There's rough and thick stuff over there.
You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish. But, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect. But it's going to hurt the course.
That's a par, and that keeps the scorecard clean, still even for the round. Stepping up to the tee here at the 11th, Frank.
Yeah, it looks straightforward. You see a big dune in the middle of the fairway. You can really take that out of play. Get it down there as far as you can. You're going to need to. And then from there on in, it's really just trying to find out exactly where you want to land that second shot so that you can get it on the right level.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special. Oh, that was solid, Rich. This one's safely on.
And getting ready for the putt.
That was a good run at it, Rich.
These putts keep the round together.
How did that not go in?
Yeah, that really hurts, Frank, missing the bogey putt.
Yeah, now time to get the handkerchief. Double bogey coming up.
The 12th here at Chambers Bay is known as the Narrows. What's the play here, Frank?
Two, really. You could just sort of iron it down there, have a little wedge or a pitch in there with no sweat whatsoever. Or, if you want to have a little bit of fun, if you can drive it over that bunker that's just short left of this green, you might just putt for an eagle.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up? It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Safely aboard. Keimer trying to put that free-flowing putting stroke to good use. Has this for birdie. Well, you could see he's just disgusted with that effort. Frank, that is nothing more than a punch to the gut.
Oh, it's cruel, Rich. Good putt and deserves so much more. Another shot at it, though.
And takes the wind right out of your sails. 13th hole now. It's a dogleg right, par 4. Frank?
But at 534 yards, you need an eagle eye, which is the name of the hole, to find exactly where you want to hit this. Doglegs to the right. There is a fairway that's plenty wide to accept a good tee shot. And then from there on in, it's actually a relatively straightforward second shot, providing you can miss that bunker that's just short in the middle of the green.
Frank, what's the best way to get at the 13th here?
Avoid those ridges left and right, or their mounds, should I say. That bunker that's well placed in the front of the green, obviously you've got to carry that, but this one you've really got to keep it in line with the middle of the green.
Routine stuff here, Frank, from the bunker?
You just got to be careful of that lip in front of him with his third shot coming up.
Great shot coming out of that bunker right there.
Showing some skills today.
Ooh, good effort right there. Almost made it. So he has that for bogey. I can't help but think that the double bogey back on the 11th hole seems to have shaken his confidence. Frank, now to the 14th hole, and this is the 5th consecutive par 4 here at Chambers Bay, and by this point the players will know whether they're on their game or off their game.
At 546 yards, this hole can be shortened considerably if you choose to take a brave line down the left side. You can chew off as much as 70 or 80 yards. But once again here, because the hole bends to the left, you've really got to know which direction that wind is coming from.
Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Well, you could see he thought he had that.
It looked in the whole way until the end.
Well, you couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. He'll take par and move on. At last, Frank, a break from those long par 4s. We just played 5 par 4s in a row. Now the par 3 15th.
And also, as you can see in the distance, you can actually see a tree. It's one of the few that are on the golf course. Hence the name of 15. It's called Lone Fir. Not overly long, just a little short hole. But in the US Open, obviously they can play it at around 250 yards. It's just a fun par 3. But check where that flag is, because sometimes 3 is a good score here. But an easy flag position, and then go straight at it.
This is a par attempt for Keimer. Struggling a bit with the flat stick, and a drop shot here at the 15th hole. Trying to get out of here without too many bumps and bruises. This one is for bogey. Just poor execution, and now 5 over par after another bogey. Now to the 3-hole finishing stretch here at Chambers Bay, and we get it started with a relatively short par 4. It's a 423-yard hole, the 16th, Frank.
Bend slightly to the right. There's a huge bunker all the way down the right side that sort of starts maybe about 100 yards off the tee, goes all the way to the green. You go right, and then you realize why this hole is called Beached.
Second shot. Good look at the green. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
But a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
And Frank, that steady play continues.
Rock solid. Excellent approach shot.
This would be a good time to reverse the slide. 5 over par on the deck. Frank, you don't need just a caddy out here at Chambers Bay. Seems like you need a sports psychologist. You start thinking about the names of these holes. Beached at 16, and what's 17 called?
Derailed, and you can see why too. That green's perched up there. If you've got the round going in the wrong direction, this is not a hole to start on. So if you've got a run going, it's just a good tee shot that lands around the front there, and you just take a 3 here. This is not a time to be a hero. And it was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Getting set now over the putt. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Couple shots over par. Now to the 18th hole. Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, once again you head back to just a wonderful view, and you realize that Chambers Bay was designed as a walking golf course, and it was designed to have fun and test every department of your game. 18 will do that. It probably gives you more trouble on both sides of the hole than any other hole on the golf course.
Now from a good position in the fairway, his second shot. Let's see what Martin Keimer does with this approach shot. Not enough on that one.
Yeah, just seemed to baby it.
Setting up for an approach shot here. Frank, you know this game can just take the wind out of your sails. Tough sport.
Everybody would love to drive it down the middle of the fairway, knock it to 10 feet and make the putt. We know it's not always going to happen, but play to your strengths. You might be chipping well. You might knock the odd 30-footer in. You don't have to play perfectly to make a good score.
Martin Keimer must make this for bogey.
Oh, painful lip out. It was a good putt.
Absolutely can't believe it. I thought that thing was stone dead in the center. Well, you almost lose count at this point. Safe to say, not under par. In fact, well over par. Disappointing round overall, Frank. Looks as though the range is going to get a visit today.
Oh, yeah. Grab a bucket of balls, and you've got to work out the swing as quick as possible.
This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. Really looking forward to the action today here at Whistling Straits. What a stunning layout overlooking Lake Michigan here in Kohler, Wisconsin. And what a great test, Frank, kind of at least in terms of the look, a seaside links.
It is. It's also one of those golf courses, Rich, that you normally play better the second time around. And the reason why I say that, Pete Dye is the master of visual intimidation. So when you first play Whistling Straits, you'll think some of those lines are much tougher or you'll go to the wrong side. Once you've been around there once, you realize, you've got to hit it down the right rather than the left. And things start to make more sense.
But Frank, in true links golf, you can generally run the ball up along that ground. Here, you have to put it up in the air, don't you?
You certainly do, yeah. It's links golf played through the air.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. That's a par, and that keeps the scorecard clean, still even for the round. Well, Frank, the 11th here at Whistling Straits is a monster par 5. They call it sandbox, but it is not exactly child's play.
145 yards. I don't care whichever way you cut it down. That's going to be 3 good shots. Forces you to hit driver off this tee.
Frank, not the longest hitter, but sometimes you win tournaments by putting it in a good spot, and that's where we are right here, 280 yards out.
Yeah, 280 down the middle of the fairway. That'll never get you in trouble.
Frank, this is a huge par 5. How reachable is it?
Well, probably chances of getting home there, you're going to need something around the 340-yard mark off the tee. If you've done that, well, one thing to be aware of is that huge bunker, that huge deep bunker short left of this green.
Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
That was not a very good read right there. Here's Martin Keimer for par.
How did that not go in? Oh, that even caught me by surprise, Rich. I thought par was in the bag.
This now for bogey. Putt drops. Now at 1 over par. Frank, the previous hole we took out the sledgehammer. Now at the 12th, we'll need a scalpel, it looks like.
Yeah, at 163 yards, you wouldn't think it's very long. But really, the problem is the green. You can pitch the ball in the middle of the screen and still it can kick over. So be very, very aware of the mounding and the undulations on this green.
Frank, this is a cross-country putt. He'll have a go at it, though, for birdie. We'll see.
There's no backing down here. This is going to go up and down and all over the place. But a chance to go in. Oh, and it gets a good kick. It's only in the first cut.
That's
not too bad.
Frank, I like the way he sort of starts his swing a little bit on the outside and then drops it right on plane. This to avoid a huge number. This is for bogey. Slipping just a bit, another bogey, and now 2 over par. 13th hole now, and by the looks of this one, Frank, if you were right off the tee, things could go horribly wrong.
Massive drop-offs and bunkers to the right. Doubtfully you'd ever get a good lie if you missed this fairway on the right. So, flip side, keep the ball down the left.
Well, this one's sweet, Frank.
Super.
Second shot now for Martin Keimer. So he's hit it inside 30 feet, not his best, but still a chance.
Yeah, the odd 28-footer, and that's exactly what it is. I've seen a few of those go down.
And that one rolls just into the rough.
Now you have to decide whether or not that ball's going to fly or not.
Frank, in golf, as we know, there's short grass and there's long grass. We all want to be in that short grass, but it doesn't always work out that way. So what's the most important element from the shot, from the rough?
You have to be a little bit more conservative first and foremost, because you can't guarantee a perfect strike out of the long grass. So therefore you have to look around the greens, maybe short, to the right, to the left, and realize what's involved, and also just give yourself a slightly bigger target.
Frank, that golf ball's sitting up like a red velvet cake in a bakery. It looks pretty, doesn't it?
Time to take a bite of it. Savor it. Hit the next one close. This is not heading in the right direction.
It looks like it's going to be in the rough. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are, because, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing. This skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Hasn't been easy, but he'll take it. That's a par. 3 over for the day. Ready to go here at the 15th tee, and by the looks of it, Frank, we should have brought the swimsuits and some sunscreen.
It's very picturesque, that's for sure, but don't get fooled by its beauty. This is an absolute beast at 503 yards and sets up a very, very tough finish to Whistling Straits.
Frank, not overly long, but still a pretty good spot and in the fairway.
Yeah, that's in that 280 mark.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Outside chance, really, for birdie, but really... It was a rather poor approach shot.
Speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. And getting ready for the putt. In for par. Now the run to the finish beginning here at the 16th, Frank.
And there's certainly a chance for 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, you name it down here. But it's all going to start with one thing, and that's a good drive. Great Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's the next one. Judging by that light, it's not going to be too hard.
Okay, the second shot now at this par 5. That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Well, he'd like to have that one back in the bunker.
Still a chance to get it up and down.
Lays the face open. He'll try to pop this one out. See if he can get this one to drop here at the 16th for a birdie. Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Martin Keimer eyeing this one for par. Saves par, stays at 3 over. Well, Frank, we know that Pete Dye has given the world some intimidating par threes, most notably the 17th at TPC Sawgrass. He says this one is even more fearsome.
And the reason why is the drop-off on the left. It's 20 feet below the level of the green. Then you've got the sand dunes on the right, which are sort of speckled with bunkers as well. And then there's a little sliver of green grass in between. That's the green.
Well, at least he can draw on the experience from the previous hole. Again, in the bunker. Now from the bunker.
Yeah, just a little splash out on this par 3.
That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short. It's tough to take an extra club out of that lie, Rich, because it's always in the back of your mind. If you hit it properly, it's going to email the green.
Gave that one everything he had. I mean, really gouged it, and still, it was short. Frank, you always talk about it. Don't compound the mistakes. Well, here we are, another shot from the rough.
And this one, no easier than the one he's just hit.
The final hole, the 18th, and the clubhouse in the distance. Frank, it's looking like home sweet home, isn't it?
Well, if you can hit the fairway here, that's one thing, but it still leaves an enormously long second shot.
That one ends up in the rough.
That went sideways.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Frank, this one's going too far left, it looks like.
Yeah, it was fine there for a little while, but if it keeps going left, it's doomed. Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, rough.
That was a pretty nasty lie out of the rough. He did the right thing there, Frank. Fourth shot, wants to get this close. He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Bit of a stumble here for Keimer. Needs to limit the damage. This is for bogey. Frank, this game will drive you crazy.
Yeah, you can do so many things right, and then just something so simple, completely wrong.
Everything has gone wrong today. Just continues to be ugly. Coverage coming your way is presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Frank, every golfer wants to play it at least once, the old course at St. Andrews.
Yeah, from Bobby Jones to Jack Nicklaus to Tiger Woods. They've all come and conquered.
Now at the 10th, and Bobby Jones loved this hole, didn't he?
And that's why it's been renamed Bobby Jones. Drivable for a lot of the players, but if you're going to have a crack at this green, avoid the gorse down the left side, as well as the 2 pot bunkers that are in line with the right side of this green.
Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Second shot, good look at the green. He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Long putt here. This will require a good touch. Looks like he just misread that. This can be a cruel game at times. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Just a couple of feet. Just a shade over par. +1. Frank, number 11, the Eden, is really one of the more fascinating holes in all of golf.
Yeah, the two bunkers that the players normally worry about, Strath bunker in the front and the Hill bunker to the left. What makes those two bunkers so difficult is the steepness of the faces in them.
Hoping to get this up and down here, Frank, at the par 3 after missing the green.
Yeah, it's not all bad.
Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. That was a solid strike and a good result. Here's the 2014 U.S. Open champion eyeing this one for par. Okay, has it and stays at 1 over par. Frank, how do you like the 12th hole here at St. Andrews?
Well, it's a beautiful par 4. You start to see the village of St. Andrews in the background, Eden Estuary to the right, and also decision time. If you're long enough, it's certainly worth having a crack at this par 4 with your tee shot. But if you're not a long hitter, then you've really got to worry about those 4 beautifully and well strategic positioned bunkers in the middle of the fairway.
Second shot now for Martin Keimer. That will be a great look at birdie. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. So close.
And yet it still counts for another shot.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the cause.
In for par. Here at the par 4 13th hole at the old course, Frank, what's the best play, power, or do you go with precision?
Well, you'd like a nice mixture of both there, Rich. If you can take those coffins out of play, that's the name for those series of bunkers sort of down the middle, then obviously you've got a much shorter shot coming in, and then you've got a chance to actually have a full view of this green.
And the tee shot ends up in the bunker. Frank, just a slight miss off the tee. He's in the fairway bunker.
Yeah, you just really got to pick the right club once again. Sometimes you take a little bit more club out of the fairway bunker, choke down.
His second shot.
He needs a sort of miracle putt.
Might want to check the GPS on a putt this long. Speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. This is a bogey attempt for Martin Kaymer. Slipping just a bit, another bogey, and now 2 over par. Frank, what's the strategy here at the 14th?
If you can't go for this par 5 and 2, Rich, there is another option where you can go left, and I mean left of left. That's down the 4th fairway. That's across the Elysian Fields, as they call it, which is a set of sort of hummocks that run down the middle, and you can find a flat lie there and come across at about a 45-degree angle for your third shot to 14.
That's a good start to the hole, right down the middle.
Second shot.
Headed for the bunker. That one is in the bunker. Getting some sand in the shoes now. We're a second straight hole. He's in the bunker. Anything you do differently with your setup?
Just dig my feet into the sand a little bit more, but make sure you focus on the exact spot on the ball you want to hit.
Well, Frank, you hate to miss the green on a par 5 with your third shot.
Yeah, well, they say par 5s are the easiest holes to birdie, but the hardest holes to make 4. Making a 6, though, that certainly sets yourself backwards. So tough up and down. Well, from in trouble, Rich, at least he's back in play.
On the fairway from the rough. Let's see what Martin Kaymer does with this approach shot. Oh, no, look out, Frank. I think he flushed that one.
Oh, this is going, gone.
Just averted danger right there. So close.
Why does he have all the luck?
Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round. Beautiful touch. Nice putt. Time to tee it up here at the 15th as we begin the closing stretch here at the Open Championship of the Old Course at St. Andrews.
There's a big steeple in the distance, so even when it starts to fog in a bit, if you can keep your eye on that, that's a good line off the tee. And you've got to keep it, your tee shot just short of this sort of heather, big crop of heather down the left side. It still leaves you a lengthy second shot, but really that's the safest way to try and play this par 4 15th. Very good par 4.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Made a good run at birdie. He'll have to focus now. Try to walk away with the par. This would be a bonus from 25 feet away. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. And getting ready for the putt. Rough day so far, 4 over par on the round. Headed for home now, partner. The 16th hole, and what are we looking at here?
Well, you have to avoid the principal's nose. Otherwise, you're going to finish up in the principal's office.
This is a good lie, 155 yards out. That is always so disappointing from that kind of a spot when you come up short.
Yeah, you're licking your chops over that one. Shot you think you could hit directly at the flag now.
That is a tremendous shot right there. Touch, nerve, he had it all, and he has the bottom of the barrel. Frank, so many famous landmarks on this hole. The hotel on the right, you want to avoid that. The bunker on the left, and then the stone wall beyond the road.
Yeah, there's all those features. Is one of the reasons why no one would be allowed to design a hole like this today. It also makes it not only unique, but I think that's the greatness of the hole, is that all those problems you're very aware of. It's just, can you avoid them?
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
This is a par attempt for Keimer. That was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
No, sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
This for him would be one drop shot. So after all that, it's a bogey. Frank, this is really one of the coolest spots in the whole sport. When you tee off at 18, it's as if the entire town of St. Andrews is peering in and looking at you.
Yeah, you've started by the town at the little starter's box, and then you've sort of gone all the way out. Now you're all the way on the back end, and it's almost like your job's been completed. But really, in the game of golf, you're just starting.
That'll be from about 90 yards away. Oh, looked like he caught a flyer right there, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he caught, but this is way too much.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now he'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. So a tough way to close the round, missing a short putt and a bogey here at 18. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. So just a formality here. 6 over par on the round right now. Going to need the A game tomorrow. That was not the round they were looking for.
Well, the A game, as we know, doesn't come out every single day, but a positive attitude will certainly go a long way, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of time on the range.
This is EA Sports. PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Frank, through the years, there have been some great winners at the Open Championship played at Royal Troon.
Well, just in recent history, remember Mark Calcavecchia in the playoff with Wayne Grady and Greg Norman. There was also Todd Hamilton when he beat Ernie Els in the 4-hole playoff. And back in 1996, Justin Leonard was to win his Open Championship.
Tom Watson also won an Open Championship here. Tom Weiskopf, his only major, that was 1973. The great Arnold Palmer, Bobby Locke, they all won at Royal Troon. In the thick stuff.
Thick? It's brutal out there.
Frank, this is where the mental game really comes into play. You've hit a second consecutive shot into the rough.
This could compound very, very quickly. So now's a chance to just take a little breath, take a breather, and try to make sure this shot certainly gets out.
Martin Kaymer eyeing this one for par. Missed putt and a drop shot here at the 10th. Locked in on the read and the speed. Just a shade over par, +1. Frank, what happened to Jack Nicklaus here at the 11th hole back in 1962?
Yeah, that was his rookie year. He was actually looking at making 2 majors in a row. He just won the US Open. Came to the 10th hole, and, well, he made one more than 10, 11 to be precise. So you never know. If you make a 5 or a 6, that's not so bad when you consider what happened to Jack Nicklaus all the way back in 1962.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. This is the second shot at the par 4. Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Third shot, Martin Kaymer. Oh, without a doubt, that will be on the highlight reel later tonight. Excellent shot. Back here on the bonny shores of Scotland at Royal Troon Golf Club with just a wee breeze, as they say over here.
Right and left. There's a bit of a mound and rough down the right side. That has to be avoided.
So that sets up a tougher second shot, missing the fairway with the drive, now in the rough. Second shot coming out of the rough here. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Third shot, looking for a good one. Outstanding strike right there, right off the center of the club face, and a good chance for birdie. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Just slides by.
Yeah, can't afford to miss too many of those out here today.
Trying to limit the damage here. This putt is for bogey. So a drop shot right there, and now at 1 over par for the day. Frank beginning to head towards home. This is the 13th of par 4.
Another dogleg right. Problem isn't really the tee shot here, even though there's undulations and mounds all over the fairway. Second shot's played uphill to an elevated green.
That's a bit offline in the rough. Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. All right, now another shot from...
Yeah, this time better be better than the one we just saw.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. That is a solid par putt. Frank, what kind of par 3 is the 14th here?
You can get sucked in here, just 180 yards, which isn't considered that long. But if you look too much at the front of the green, you're going to see that's where the protection is.
Well, the tee shot has landed in the bunker. Now from the bunker.
Yeah, just a little splash out on this par 3.
I love it with a nice splash out of the bunker. It lands softly and just runs out right next to the hole. Beautiful shot. Well, you just can't make up ground if you don't make putts. Drop shot here at the 14th hole. Settles in over the putt. So 2 over par for the round. At the 15th, this par 4 is over 480 yards.
The key here really is the 3 bunkers. 2 on the left, 1 on the right. 260 yards gets you past that. If you find the fairway here, then you don't have to worry about the 3 bunkers that are short of this green.
Now playing the second here at the par 4. Frank did the prudent thing there, didn't he?
Yeah, in the end, really, you could have turned that into a disaster. Instead, See a good chance, really, to perhaps get away with par.
Let's see what Martin Keimer does with this approach shot. Frank, anytime you're inside 15 feet, you have to like your chances.
Yeah, our computer gives us 13 feet to be precise.
Martin Keimer, 2014 U.S. Open champion. Is this one for par? Just hammered that par putt, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he was thinking or what was going through his mind right there, but he better wake up in a hurry, because if this one doesn't go in, that score's going to rack up very quickly.
The back nine here at Royal Troon has only one par 5. Here it is, Frank.
At 542 yards, you'd think it's reachable, but that burn cuts in at 280 yards, so it means you have to lay back. But I remember back in 1997, playing alongside Tiger Woods, and he still managed to get it onto the green from behind the burn. That was some shot.
You knew at that point he was something special.
He certainly was. He then knocked it in from 40 feet for an eagle 3.
That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
And it makes the green in regulation. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Close. Couldn't ask for much more on that putt. These putts keep the round together.
Well, for such a strong man, weak putt.
Now I'll have to make this just to avoid making Michael Bublé. 17th here at Royal Troon. This is a very strong par 3, isn't it, Frank?
Well, if rabbits have teeth, then this is why it's called rabbit. Very, very strong par 3.
Didn't check, Frank.
Yeah, just not enough spin on that, really. I mean, that almost like took that first bounce and just ricocheted forward.
And Frank, that steady play continues.
Rock solid. Excellent approach shot.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Chases that in for par to stay at 4 over. Frank, how does this 18th hole here at Royal Troon stack up against some of the other finishing holes in major championship golf?
Rich, it's a stout par 4, 464 yards, so it's sort of in the ilk of a Muirfield or Royal St. George's finishing hole. They've had some great 18th holes in Open Championships. This is actually called Craig End. It's the name of the old farm that was demolished at the turn of the century. So the 18th hole, it's certainly grown up and it's flourished to more than a farm.
Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie.
Remember, out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit.
Well, how do you like that? He's holding. Just a phenomenal play right there. Well, that about wraps it up for us here today. I'd like to thank my partner, Frank Nobilo. Really enjoyed it, Frank.
Yeah, it's been a good day out here. Once again, we've seen the golf course give more than it takes.
For Frank Nobilo, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now. This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Welcome to TPC Sawgrass, known for one of the most terrifying holes in all of golf, the 17th Island Green. This is Rich Lerner alongside my colleague Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. We'll be calling all the action for today's event. Frank, you're no stranger to this layout, one of the most demanding golf